Welcome to Pranayama Yoga. I'm Christy. Let's take a breath. So in yoga, the breath is vitally important. Yoga is so much about the energy that flows in our body, and breath is really, obviously, an important component of our daily lives, right? Bringing oxygen, bringing that energy into our bodies is super important. So we're trying to regulate some of the energy in the body with our breath. A lot of what we've been doing is calming, relaxing breath, because most of the time our lives are just a little out of control, right? There's just so much overload in our normal daily life. All our to-do lists, all the information coming at us, all the crazy drivers on the road and the things we have to pay attention to, get our nervous systems wound up. So again, today we're going to use another relaxing yoga technique. And then at the end, we may do an energizing one, just to kind of depending on how the vibe feels today. I know even though you're not with me, there's still like this energy that happens during a class. So we're going to see what happens today. All right, so let's just stretch a little bit and then we'll do Nadi Shodhana. We're going to let the head drop down. Pull your shoulder blades backward and down. Take a big breath here. So with the breath, right, we're balancing our energy both by, we're drawing in this new energy and we're exhaling out the old energy. So bring your head back up. Oh my God, my shoulders are tight. We're going to squeeze those shoulder blades back towards the spine. Then pull them up towards your ears, and then see if you can kind of push them forward a bit. Maybe we should try to reach arms across and pull our upper arms in towards each other. So a little bit of like a hugging sort of shape. Pulling your arms in, good. And then we're going to release it and let the shoulders come down. And pull them backward again. And let them rise up, and then let the shoulder blades drop down and reach your arms up overhead. Move your wrists around and wiggle your fingers. And then we'll take it into a little twist. Just start to spin to your right. Let your right hand drop down onto the floor behind you very gently. I can feel like my whole low back is just a little delicate today, a little tender. Too many hours of sitting at my computer. I know you guys can relate. All right, we're going to come back through center. And so this can be just with your hands low. I'm feeling like I want my hands low, but I'm going to reach them up just because that's my job. We're going to reach them up. We're going to twist over to the left side. Let that left hand come down behind you on the floor. So again, lengthen up. So interestingly, on this side, I can feel it more in my shoulders than in my low back. Notice what's going on for you. Maybe pretty equal from side to side. There's some difference that happens here. And then we're going to come back to center. So again, hands can reach up overhead, or you can just keep them low and just ease your way back to center. Let's circle the shoulders a couple more times. So just pull one short, like just kind of like a little twist, right? So just one shoulder forward, the other one backward, just a little bit back and forth. That can be with your hands down, just a little gentle, right? Like, I guess it's like what we used to call the washing machine, like a little agitation, even though washing machines don't really work like that anymore. All right, and then we're gonna come back to center. So you want to be relatively comfortable. If you want to take your legs out wide to make yourself a little more comfortable, you can. I'm sitting as usual on my meditation pillow. So if you're looking one, this one's filled with buckwheat, which works pretty well because it molds a little bit to the body. Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. So this one is about trying to balance the energy channels along the spine. So the nadis in the body a little bit mystical for me to really grasp my head around. But the nadis are just like all these little energy points in the body. That's about as much as I know about them. All right, so we're going to do this. We're going to close off the right nostril. We're going to inhale through the left nostril. Then we're going to close off the left nostril, exhale through the right, inhale through the right, switch sides. So we're going back and forth. It's just the beginning is a little bit different. Begin with a left inhale, and then you switch and exhale on the right, inhale on the right. So I tend to think about it as like this figure 8 pattern. So you're exhaling, you're coming up, you're inhaling, and then it's exhaling out through the other side, inhaling. So that's the way I picture it, is that it's kind of like a figure 8 pattern. Like the exhale is dropping down, the inhale is coming up, and then you're looping to the other side. Maybe that'll help. Traditionally, it's done, people do this in several different ways. Thumb and ring finger, usually, we're using to close off the nostrils. People typically either do it with your index and your middle finger, either kind of touching that third eye spot, so just resting, right above the bridge of the nose, or with the fingers tucked down. That gets harder with arthritis and just whatever, tension and anomalies we have in our hands. You can also just simply do your thumb and your index finger. All right, so just find your own patterning. Maybe try it a couple different ways. Let's see, I usually do it with the fingers tucked down. So we're gonna start, just take your right thumb and close your right nostril. Take an inhale through your left nostril. And then we're changing sides. So you're gonna close off the left, exhale through the right, inhale through the right. I'm so stuffy today. And then we're going to exhale through the left. So if you're like me, you may find it a little difficult if you're a little stuffed up. And then we're going to inhale through the left. You can see how it just slows things down. We're going to inhale through the right, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Exhale through the left. Inhale left. So you're changing just before the exhale. Exhale and inhale. Change sides. Exhale, inhale. Try to let your shoulders relax. And don't worry if you get a little bit mixed up, that's completely natural. So again, we're just trying to exhale, inhale, and then change sides. And then we're going to finish on a left exhale. So the next time you get to that left exhale, I'm just going to exhale out. And then let it go. Take a breath. So just notice how you feel now. After that breath, hopefully a little calmer. So as we move into Shavasana, we're going to try that without the hand. So obviously these days, you want to be at home, you want your hands to be washed. I should have said that first. Before you do that, being out in public places, not, it's a little weird to do, even in your work cubicle, it can be a little weird to do that. So we're going to practice it at the end with just our minds. All right, let's take another big breath. I want to roll back and work on hips and legs today. So we're going to pull this out. If you have a little pillow, I'm going to have a sip of water. We're going to roll onto our backs. Just give yourself a little stretch, whatever feels good. I always like arms overhead once I get to the floor. You can have your knees hugged in. You can have your feet straight up towards the ceiling. And then wiggle your ankles around. Okay, we're going to take it into reclining pigeon. So bring your right ankle on top of your left thigh. You can begin that with both feet on the floor and try to rest your right ankle on your left thigh. We're going to bring this left leg up, hold the back of it with both hands, gently squeeze it. So when I'm holding the leg, I usually interlace the fingers just so that my hands can relax and my arms can relax a little bit more. Kind of creates that bit of a lock for the hands. Soften your abdomen. If it's comfortable for your neck, let your head turn to one side. And then see if it'll go to the other side. Sometimes, because of the way the shoulder pulls up, so right leg's up, right shoulder pulls in a little bit more, I sometimes have trouble turning to the right when this right leg is up. So just notice, how's your neck? Will it go in both directions? Does it not really go in either direction? Pay attention to what's best for you. Big breath. And then we're going to let the left foot come down. We're going to bring the right foot up towards the ceiling. The right foot comes on up. If you can get hold of that big toe, you're going to take your index and your middle finger, slide it between the big toe and the second toe, and then wrap the index, the middle finger, and the thumb around the big toe. So if that works for you, you can also have your knee bent a little bit there, and then just notice if you intentionally, you can take this into kind of a half a happy baby, just bending that knee, pulling it a little farther down towards the floor. Can you see that on this side? Or you can keep the legs straight. So feel free to do a little bit of movement here. That leg can stretch straight out to your right side. And if you're not reaching the toe well, you can just hold on to the back of the leg. Ouch, that leg is tight. Everything is so tight this week. And just keep breathing. All right, and then we're going to take it into a twist before we do the other side. So bring this right leg and just cross it over your left leg. If this doesn't work, then just have feet side by side. We're going to drop the knees to the left. Right arm can stretch out behind you at roughly shoulder height. But again, find your own spot for that arm and shoulder. Big breath. Soften on your exhale. So some of working with the breath is the visualization of this fresh energy coming in and the old exhaling out. We're using the mind-body connection. So really what we focus our thoughts on can really shift our bodies. So especially if you're tight, you're going to work on really using those exhales to visualize your muscles becoming more comfortable, feeling better. And then we're going to release. So I often uncross the legs there. I'm going to come back to center and just pull your knees in. I'm going to hold the backs of my thighs here today. You can hold the shins. Either way, we're going to rock a little bit from side to side. Then we're going to take it into reclining pigeon. Again, you can begin with both feet down if you like. And then just rest your left ankle on top of your right thigh. Observe how that is. And then try to bring that right leg up. Hold the back of the right leg. And then how's the head? So if it was only turning to the left on the other side, will it now turn to the right? Is it different from side to side? So maybe it's really each side of your neck that is different rather than so much the position of the shoulders here in this pose. So again, use your breath. Feel that balance. Drawing in the new, releasing out the old. And then we're going to let this side, we're going to let this right foot come down. We're going to bring the left foot up towards the ceiling. And you're just going to see how this side is. So for me, this leg is always tighter. It may be harder for me to get hold of the toe. So again, if we're going to grab toe, index and middle finger come around one side of the big toe, and then the thumb wraps around the other side. So you can bend your knee. You can come into that kind of half a baby, half a happy baby, not half a baby. Half a happy baby. We're going to pull that knee down towards the floor and observe how this is. If you're used to doing happy baby, it's different on this one side. So if happy baby is super intense, just doing one leg tends to make it less intense on the hips and the low back. I don't really do a lot of it, of half, but just an option to think about. And again, if you want to take your foot straight out to the side, and if you're not reaching the toe, you're just holding the leg. Keep breathing. All right, and then we're going to take it into that twist. So bring your left leg, cross it over your right with the knee bend. We're going to drop the knees over to the right side. If these crossed knees are too much, just release. Stack your left leg on top of your right. So on this side, where does it feel good to place your arms? Gently come back to center. We're going to pull those knees in again and rock. Into a bridge pose. Feet come on down. Feet near your hips, about hip distance apart. So just scooch them around until they feel like they're in a pretty good spot. You want your feet to be level. So just notice, are they placed in a way where really only your heels touching the floor, or the outside or something? Find a spot where you can get those feet pretty level on the floor. So that your big toe and your little toe are touching the floor. Take a breath. Push your low back down. We're just going to start to very gently bring the hips up off the floor. This is the best spot for your back, where you can just barely get your hands underneath your hips. Stay here. Try to work, though, on, using your legs. So if you need to, you can come down and maybe just rest on your hands or on a block. But if you can hold the hips up, we want to engage the leg and the hip muscles. If you can come up a little bit higher, it might just be part way still, working on pulling the hips away from your shoulders. You're going to engage the legs as though you were squeezing. So one of the ways this is done is, all right, that's too far. I'm going to pretend, I'm going to grab this, is taking a yoga block. And because this isn't the right size, this little pillow, but taking a yoga block and just trying to squeeze it in, so it's going to make your legs engage. You want that kind of sensation in the legs, as though you're right. So you're not actually pulling the legs in towards each other, but you're imagining that you're just kind of squeezing the legs in towards one another. Keep breathing. So notice where the weight is on the feet. Again, trying to get pretty level on the feet here. If you can come up a little bit higher, just push up a little higher. The breath slow and smooth. Feel it going all the way into your belly. And then gently lower yourself down. Bring your low back into the floor. So your choice. You can bring knees in, or you can just keep that low back pressed down. If you just bring your knees in and you don't hold them and pull them in all the way, that could also be kind of a middle ground for your back. Sometimes once we've been in that bridge pose, we've got that bit of a back bend, and then you're coming down, you're pulling your knees the other way. That sometimes can be a little stressful for the back. So that's why a lot of times why we keep the feet down and just push the low back down. But if you just bring your knees up a little bit, if that low back down isn't quite enough, knees can just come up a little bit. And then what happens is that you're also gently engaging your core muscles because you're holding your legs up using your abdomen. All right, we're gonna let the feet come down. Take a breath. Stretch the legs out. Reach your arms out past your head. Big full breath. Wiggle your toes. All right, I think we're gonna do so many things to do here, so little time. Let's do reclining deer. So last week we did a seated deer, I believe, if my memory serves. We're gonna do feet wide here. So you're on your back and you're just got some space between the feet and the knees. We're going to drop the knees to the left, focusing on the right leg. What you're doing is you're dropping that inner right leg down so that you can get into a bit of an outer hip and across the top of the thigh. Your left leg can really go any place that works for you. It could be foot on the floor, knee up. It's just going to depend on your body and what you're feeling here. Breathe. Way to lessen the intensity is to walk your right leg farther to the left side. Increase it by bringing your right foot farther out to the right. Just changing that position of the leg. Pay attention to what you're feeling. Breathe. So if your hips are achy, you're feeling that shift happening here. And visualize that achiness leaving the body with the exhale. Try to feel like this whole leg is transforming into a leg that really functions well, that moves easily. A leg that's both strong and flexible. Then slide your right leg closer to your left. Here's my foot and just kind of walk it back and forth. And then kick that right leg straight out to your left side. Just extend it out. And then come back to center. Any other movement you need to do. If you need to bring your leg up into the air or you need to extend it out along the floor, just find your spot there. And then we'll do side two. Feet on the floor, make space between the feet. Drop your knees to the right. We're focusing on the left leg. Right leg, again, can kind of be anywhere. Move your left leg around to one side or the other. Try to find that best spot where it's not too intense, but you feel like you're creating positive change. And visualize that whole leg and hip, strong and flexible. We're going to walk this foot back. And bring that left leg over towards your right. Extend that left foot straight out to your right side. Breathe. Try to push the heel out from the hip. And then come on back onto your back again. Foot can come up towards the ceiling, and then you can let your leg extend out along the floor. Breathe. All right, so let's come up. We're going to do butterfly for the hips. We'll do down dog for the legs and the back and the arms. So come on up, bring the soles of your feet together, push your feet forward a little bit. We're going to round. Let your head drop in the direction of your feet, but if your neck hurts, lift your head. Try to round your back. Hands can really rest anywhere. If you're getting a little lower in the pose, you can start walking your hands forward, starting to pull your torso a little bit forward from your hips, stretching out that low back and into the hips. Breath. And then come on up. Good. Take a breath here. Onto hands and knees. Let's do a cat and a dog first, and then we'll do a down dog. We're just going to round, head and tailbone down, belly and spine up, cat pose. Inhale, drop your spine down towards the floor. Bring the head and the chest up. So you can stay here just doing a cat and a dog. If you're feeling a down dog, curl your toes under, bring your knees up, push your hips back. You can lift your heels up and stretch your toes. And let your heels come down. You can bring one leg up. So this doesn't have to be the whole leg coming up. You can just bend at the knee, bring one foot up. So that lets your other heel drop down a little lower, stretching out the lower leg. If it feels good to bring the leg up, so you're just exploring where is that spot where you're getting a better stretch in your standing leg. So that may not be to bring your foot up so high. Maybe your better stretch is just with that foot a little bit lower. And then when you're ready, you're going to take it to the other side. So again, how does this feel? How high are you going to bring that foot or leg? Keep breathing. So if your extended leg, your raised leg is coming up pretty high, try to pull it out from the hip. And then let that foot come down. Push a little deeper into your hands. Try to drop your head down. And then come on into a plank. Squeeze your abdomen in. And then drop your knees, come back into child's pose. Child's pose is another good one for the hips, so it can be a little difficult. All right, thread the needle. Come up onto hands and knees. Bring your right arm underneath your left. Palm up. Try to stretch that right hand out to your left side, bringing your right shoulder down onto the floor. If you like to extend the leg, it shifts your pose a little bit. You can bring that left foot out. And just notice the difference. Is it helpful for you? Is it not helpful? What are you feeling? I think it shifts the weight a little bit farther behind you. So I think it brings the pressure a little bit more to the edge of the shoulder. So that may or may not be the right spot for you to stretch out your shoulder. For me, I can feel this extension again through the hip here. It also takes some of the weight off of my head, puts it more squarely on my shoulder. So then my neck isn't as stressed out. Usually if I have the leg in, I'm not bringing this free hand up because I'd push into it to take some stress off my neck. Okay, one more breath. And then we're going to push into that left hand. Bring your right arm up. If your leg's out, bring it in. And then on the other side, if you already know you're going to stretch your leg out, you can stretch the leg out first. And then slide your left arm underneath your right. And then just find your spot. How's it going on this side? What are you feeling? Is it different? And then we're going to come on back. So push which hand is that? Right hand. Right hand to the floor. Bring your left arm out. And then we're going to bring the leg back in. If it was stretched out, come back into child's pose. So if child's pose is hard, just keep working at it. The whole practice changes the whole body. So it's not just about one particular pose and practicing that particular pose. Everything that you do is going to help affect the body. But child's pose is just such a great, once you can get into it comfortably, it's such a beneficial pose for your hips, just for calming things down. It's great for your back and your shoulders. It's also good for your legs and your feet because of the way you're making your feet stretch out behind you. When we're in shoes a lot, ankles don't move a lot. So being in this pose is really helpful for tight ankles. All right, let's do a vinyasa. Either starting from your hands and knees or starting from a high plank. You're going to squeeze the abdomen in. You want your shoulders to be over your wrists. Bend your elbows. You want those arms to squeeze into your ribs. You want to have control as you lower down. So a lot of the traditional practices, people are pulling forward. That's really hard on your shoulders, especially as we get a little bit older. So use your toes. Pull your legs out behind you. So you're getting this extension in your low back. Your low back's not all jammed up, but you're not pulling yourself forward to do that and stressing out your shoulder joints. And then we're going to push into push into hands. Bring your shoulders up, chest forward, Feel that back bend. Feel free to move your shoulders around a little bit if they will move. You can look to one side and the other. Breathe. Let's lower down and see if we can get hold of our feet today. So we're just going to reach back for those feet. Explore those sensations. I often find it feels great just to hold my feet and pull my feet backward. Get that stretch in the shoulders. If you can get all the way into a bow pose, you're going to pull back, legs are coming up off the floor. And mostly that's back tightness to get those legs to come up off the floor. When you're ready, let it go. Push back into your child's pose. And then into pigeon. Starting from hands and knees or from down dog. You're going to bring that right knee forward and out to your right side. Right foot goes over to the left side. Left leg walks back. If you're going to back bend here, walk your hands back. Push your chest forward. And then just wherever you want to be here. Slow down the breath. If this is too intense, roll back onto your back into reclining pigeon. Feet on the floor, right ankle on top of left thigh. Breathe. So this is a good one to do 4 count breath in. So if you want to count your inhales and your exhales, just counting to 4 as you inhale, count to 4 as you exhale, trying to match the length of the inhales and exhales. Softening down on those exhales. And then let's change sides. For me in pigeon, I use my back toes and push the body a little bit farther forward so I can spin that front foot out. And then just stretch. If you're on your back, just stretch. What was the bent leg? So if you started with your right ankle on top of your left thigh, bring that right leg up. If you were in pigeon, so we have the right leg forward. I often like to stretch the left leg back up into the air. So I'm getting that little deeper stretch in my right leg. And then if you're able to transition to pigeon from here, you've already got your left leg up. You're going to bend the knee, pull it forward. You want to let your left foot come down and then the shin and then the knee. And then that right leg walks back. If you're going to back bend again, hands walk backward, pull your chest forward. And then find where's your spot on this side. Breathe. You can come back again into 4 count breath if that works for you. And then we're going to release this side. So just like before, if you're on your back, just stretch that leg up into the air. If you're in pigeon, if you need this moving forward action, just use your back toes. Push forward. Swing that left leg out. We're going to come back into a down dog. And then your right leg can come up. Getting that nice deep stretch. Alright, so we're just going to do one more seated pose. If you're on your back, gently make your way up, because we didn't really do inner leg. I guess now that I'm thinking about it, we could have done that on our backs, but we're going to take the feet out wide and just fold forward. Breathe. So this one too, you're going to get some stretch in your back. And then what happens in the legs affects how our backs feel. So getting these legs to be loose means they're not pulling on our pelvis and on our backs. And then we're going to release. Come on up. Good. All right, here we go. Onto our backs. We're going to twist. We're going to settle in for Shavasana. And at the beginning of Shavasana, we're going to do that Nadi Shodhana again. But we're just going to do it in our minds and not with our hands. So come onto your back. Moving it into the twist. Let's do one leg straight. Let's do the right leg straight. We're going to have the left foot on the floor. Drop your left knee over to the right side. You can control how far you're going into this pose. You can just leave your your ankle resting on that right leg, or you can bring that left leg all the way over to the right side. And then where do you want your arms? What feels like the right spot here? And then we're just going to take it back. So I think I usually bring my foot back first if it's all the way over, and then just start to gently roll back onto my back. If you want the stretch for your back, either feet on the floor, low back down, or you can pull your knees in. So even if your feet are on the floor, you might rock a little bit from side to side here. Just kind of swaying your knees a bit to one side and then to the other. All right, to the left. Straighten out your left leg. Right foot's on the floor. We're going to take the right knee over to the left side. So again, you can leave that foot kind of behind the leg, or you can bring it all the way over and then find where your arms are going here. Breath. Sink down on that exhale. And then back to center. So once more, again, either low back down or knees pulling in. So if you feel like you can get into happy baby, here's where you could do that half a happy baby. You can grab hold of one foot, bring that knee down. If happy baby tends to be too intense on your low back, you can just hold one knee in, grab the other foot, pull it down. And then you want to change sides, hold the knee, grab the other foot, pull that knee down. If you're doing both feet, yikes, no, that's not working today. So notice what's going on. I can really feel that in my leg in a bad way. So usually it's my back that happy baby can be a lot for. Today it was the leg. So there's always a multitude of reasons why you're going to change your positioning. All right, let your feet come down. Get yourself comfortable for Shavasana. We're going to try to do this mental nadi shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. Feel your breath flowing through your nose, and then we're just going to do a little quiet. Feel your breath flowing through your nose. So try to imagine that you're only breathing through the left nostril. Sensation of inhales and exhales only through the left side of the nose. And then try to imagine that you're only breathing through the right nostril. So even if one side is stuffy or both sides are stuffy, just to try to imagine those sensations. So the sensation of inhale and exhale. Imagine that just in the right side of the nose. And now try to imagine that you're inhaling on the left side and exhaling on the right. Imagine the inhales are flowing in through the left nostril, the exhales flowing out through the right nostril. Now try to reverse it. Imagine that you're breathing through the right, inhaling through the right nostril, exhaling through the left nostril. Try to feel the sensation of the inhale just in the right side, exhale just in the left side. And then let's see if we can do that figure 8 pattern. We're going to inhale through the left nostril. So imagine that you're inhaling through the left nostril. And then exhaling through the right. Inhaling through the right. Imagine that you're exhaling through the left. Inhaling through the left. And then switching sides, exhaling, inhaling, switch sides, exhale, inhale. That's working well for you. You can carry on for a few more minutes. You want to just be quiet. We're going to rest for about 3 more minutes here. Be aware of your breath. Notice how you feel. Slowly wiggle your fingers. Switch your arms overhead. You can roll to one side. And then slowly work your way up into a seated position. All right, so if you're not like just chilling out from here, if you want to wake up a little bit, we'll do Kapalabhati breathing. So Kapala body, we're doing, what are we doing? We're inhaling through the nose, and then we're contracting that. So it's just like a normal inhale, and then we're contracting the abdomen for this forceful exhale through the nose. Sometimes you need a tissue for this one, so it can loosen things up a little bit. So we're just going to try it. So it's hard when you're relaxed. All right, we're going to inhale, and then you're just so you're kind of allowing the inhale just to come in, and you're just really forcing, I forgot how it went, you're forcing the exhale out, and then the inhale just happens. So you're contracting the abdomen, forcing the air out through your nose, and then the inhale just kind of happens in between. So you can do that like 5, 10, 15 at a time, and then you can do like a few sets of those, but don't overdo it. It's making me cough. Let's try one more time. So let's just do what feels natural, 5, 10, or 15 for you. Yeah, it's kicking up my asthma. All right. Thank you for being here and sharing in this practice today. Oh, yeah, I can feel the energy flowing now. Hope you have a great day. Namaste.